Thank you, Your Excellency, Mr. President and Vice President, party leaders, members of cabinet colleagues, parliamentarians, members of political parties, members of the press, and all those here present, including the Chief of Staff, the Director of Press, Director of Protocol, Security, and all other protocol respectfully observed. Mr. President, I want to remind this gathering the Lancaster House talks that was led by politicians to work for the independence of the Gambia. These are talks that are meant for us to discuss and chart the way forward to better our democracy and to see how we can improve on the livelihood of the Gambian people. And we must also appreciate it is a very difficult task. Political dialogue is not easy anywhere in the world. I have witnessed it. I'm one of those who led the ECOWAS parliamentarians and ECOWAS commission members to the political dialogue in Lome. And we've witnessed the political dialogue in Nairobi that led to the new constitution. We've seen what happened in Senegal from the 80s, from the Abdou Diouf to the Wadas, how they worked on their electoral process through political dialogue. We've seen political dialogue in many parts of Africa and many parts of the world. If anybody thinks that this journey is an easy journey, you are making a mistake. In a political dialogue, we must give and take. We must accept the reality that there is a need to address the issues that divide us, to address the issues that make differences in the way we live and the way we work for the betterment of our country. So it is not an easy journey. Let's all be prepared for that journey. And therefore, on that note, before I proceed, I must congratulate the President of the Republic for accepting a political dialogue to better our polity in the country. I congratulate you, Mr. President, for that visionary idea and for taking up the bull by the horn to call on all political parties to come and sit down and discuss and chart the way forward. On that note, Mr. President, in a gathering like this, I always feel nostalgic. When I see my colleagues sitting down next to me, and I fail to see the likes of Omar Jallo, Mr. Femi Peters, Lamin Diba, and others, I remembered in 2016, when we all used to sit together, discuss the issues of this country that led us to where we are today. I feel that they deserve prayers for all of us, that they have parted, they have gone, they've played their role. I please would request, if permitted, that before we leave this gathering, that we pray for those people and others that have not named who have been with us, and today they have gone and they sacrificed all their life and did everything they could to participate in their country. Mr. President, just to summarize, since I don't have enough time to deliberate on these issues, I think the first role that we need to do in every parliamentary democracy, looking at how we harmonize our issues, we must look at the Gambian context. Today, I believe that at the end of this program, the management of state resources should be a key pillar in the discussion of these things. How do we discuss the issue of the management, physical management of state resources, and how do we manage and discuss the issue of land management and land usage in the Gambia? We must accept that the issue of land is becoming a threatening national security issue that needs to be discussed by everybody, so that at the end of the day, the government of the Gambia would do what its people want them to do. The issue of land cannot be brushed aside whilst we are sitting here. The issue of religious coexistence must be an issue that we have to address. We cannot allow few people picking up microphones, insulting and abusing others because they have an opportunity to speak. We must copy what happened in other countries, where people are licensed to speak, where you cannot just pick up a microphone and preach and insult others. The religious coexistence that we have enjoyed in this country, we cannot allow few people to destroy it. I remind you, when Pope John Paul came to this country, when Pope John Paul came to this country, when he looked back at the central mosque he saw when he was at the St. Augustine, he asked, what is that? They told him it was a church. He said, I have never seen a central church, such a religious country, opposite a grand mosque. And that he praised the Gambia for being very religious. We cannot destroy that. We need to keep that. Just to us, we must also have a level playing field in the polity. We must discuss the electoral process. We must make sure that everybody participates in the process and feel that you have been fairly treated, and where we need to amend laws, we have to amend laws to make sure the system is free and fair for everybody. So at the end of the day, when results are declared, we are obliged to accept the results, and that is important for us. And the other one, the educational system, we have to look at it. We must have an educational system that can cater for our youth and for our young. We must address the issue of backway not by talking, by looking at the causes of it. We need to create people with knowledge and skills that they can have hope in our society and stay in their country to deliver. Or wherever we export their skills, it will yield us benefit, and not to see our people dying at sea. We must also, in our political debate, be responsible the way we talk, be responsible the way we attack, be responsible the way we send our views. You cannot use social media, be abusing and insulting people and thinking that you are doing politics. You are doing no good to your country, but doing harm to your country. Everybody has a view to express. Everybody has a view to express, but it's in the manner that you are expressing this view. And in doing so, we must protect our women. We must make sure our women are protected during our debates. We cannot afford to be abusing them, calling them all sorts of names. Whatever they do, it's something that they have done with men. We must open up the political space not by word of mouth, by making sure that our women feel comfortable, not being intimidated and abused when they participate in politics. One again, just before I give you the floor, we must make sure security and stability is key in our governance system. We must make sure that we create peace in the country. When we went to Guinea-Conakry, just to give you an example, as soon as we landed in the country, I told the president it seems that something is wrong in this country. Because since we left the airport, I've seen nobody rising and supporting this president. And all of a sudden, we saw there was a coup. And what happened? The foreign minister told me, he's been telling the opposition, don't encourage instability. When instability comes, you all become victims. Today, all of them are in exile. All of those who are instigating instability are in exile. Let's keep our democracy. We thank our armies. We thank the Gambian army and the African armies. They've done well to liberate Africa. They are good in changing government, but they are very bad in managing countries. We want them to stay away from our politics and our governance. We want them to stay away. Parliamentarians are responsible of distributing and allocating national resources. It is not the President of the Republic alone. And you cannot also be talking about high cost of goods and blame the government of the Gambia for that. We are not in control of the production prices overseas. When we order the product is not produced in the Gambia, President Barrow cannot dictate the cost of those goods. Few months ago, a ton of rice was $400 in the international market. Today is $500 plus. The long grain rice, which was $500 today, is $700. How can President Barrow determine the price of that rice when he is not producing the rice? The solution of this country, let's go back and produce for what we eat and grow what we eat. And stop blaming the government. Stop blaming this government for price rise. That is cheap politics. Let's avoid that. Let's understand where the truth lies, and we speak the truth and we work together. So that when we leave this hall, when we finish these discussions, we could come out with a document that would amend our laws, come out with a document where everybody will respect each other, and we move the interest and the advancement of the Gambia forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Can we have your notes?